Inexperience can lead you to say things that make people dislike you. Hi folks, it's Falcon, and today on Game Ranks, 10 things non-gamers should never say to a gamer. Number 10, you've been playing for hours, let me play. Which I just have to go ahead and say is almost never preceded by you playing a game for hours. It's always like a few minutes into your play session, 5, 10, maybe 20, maybe even a half hour for that matter. And a sibling strolls into the room, assuming that that's been your entire day, and they whip out the "you've been playing forever, let me play." And of course you say no, and then they go tell. I mean, this is what it was like when I was growing up anyway. I'm sure it's still going on. It seems like a conflict as old as time itself. But since becoming an adult, it has become markedly better, I'd like to add. And I'll say this is something where parents could probably pay a little bit more attention to their kids. But you know, whatever. Number 9, when the inexperienced non-gamer is like, let me try. Especially if you've just taken like a bunch of time to unsuccessfully get through an area of a video game and they're like, you know what, it doesn't seem that hard to me. Let me try. Okay, sure, you can try. Let's see if you can beat this incredibly hard section that I, a person who's been playing video games and understands this game, has been through the tutorial, played all of the previous levels, and so on and so forth. No, you can probably do better. Here you go. Give it a shot.
What does this button do?
That's the give it back to me button. You're wasting your time playing video games. No, seriously, like a lot of the time adults will literally say this to other adults. Adults that spend their weekends on the couch watching the television as other people play sports. You know, not something I would judge. It's fine, I don't care what people do with their time, but I do care when people who do something that is, if we're gonna split hairs, not interactive at all, tell me that it is a waste of my time to do something that I enjoy. You can sit there and yell at the ref all day and he's not gonna do anything, but if I fire up my old copy of NFL Blitz, I can, like clothesline him. Also, there's a bunch of games that aren't the old game NFL Blitz that I could be playing. Almost like an entire library of games that I can swap out depending on my mood and play something narrative or mechanic or something that strikes a balance or a sports game or, just like an endless amount of you can watch the sports game. Who do you think's gonna win? Again, I don't have any troubles with people who like sports. I have troubles with people who like sports and then try to step to video games. Number 7, when they imply that non-gamers are somehow better than gamers. Now, I don't know what gets in their heads, but for whatever reason, gamers apparently have nothing else. We don't have friends, we don't have families, we don't have jobs, we don't have lives. Yes, I play video games, so that means I have nothing else going at all, period. Like, I understand very much that there are people who play video games in that capacity, but they are not the majority of, we all have stuff to do. You can't look at us like we're some foreign species from an alien world. We're people, or at least, birds, Falcon, that thing. Number 6, when a sibling is like, why do you care so much about your discs after they just got done chewing on it or whatever they do? I realize that this problem is gradually going away as digital downloads take up more and more of the real estate of gaming, but the physical real estate of a disc is one to respect. If you remember back in the day on the PlayStation and the older discs, minute little things would cause those discs to work way less good. It's gotten a little bit better over time. You can put in discs that aren't completely immaculate and it will still play the game now, but that's not an excuse to test out all those sandpaper life hacks on it. It almost seems like people are constantly looking for ways to scratch up discs. I don't know. It's not that hard not to scratch them up. I just wonder why everybody thinks that they're worth eating. It seems like they're not tasty. I tried it. They're not tasty. It's just like a plastic taste. So no taste. Number 5, and this is one that as DLC has become more of a standard part of gaming. I really don't understand how it's stuck around. But when you want to buy a DLC for a game and your parents or friends or siblings or something who doesn't really know what's going on is like, don't you already have that game? Why are you buying it again? And this can be as you're like, hey, I'd like to buy this DLC. Or it can be later as a bill is checked out.
What are you
buying all these purchases from the Steam or the PSN for? It's like $5 here to $6 there. What is this?
It's a DLC.
What's a DLC?
It's downloadable content.
I don't understand. Things are changing too fast for my brain.
Even though it's been like a decade now, it's normal. It's normal to spend like $5 on more for the game you already own. We can have a debate on what's worth being a DLC. There's some pretty sketchy stuff that is masquerading as downloadable content, but when I get another like level or campaign or something like that, I think that it's worth the $5-10, sometimes more, but I'm not buying the game again. Number 4, why are you still playing games? You're an adult. The minute you turn 18, I swear there's so many people who will say this in your life, whether they be your parents, whether they be friends who want you to, shut up and watch the game with them or whatever, because that's not a version of the same thing they're criticizing. No, apparently you're not allowed to do anything that is fun that you did when you're a kid when you're an adult. That's just how that works. Yeah. Number 3, when people say it's weird to watch videos of people playing video games, as if that's, different from people playing physical games, which people watch videos of all the time. Like, since the invention of television, we've been watching videos of people playing physical games. And before that, we were listening to people describe people playing physical games over the airwaves received by your radio unit. Which, by the way, doesn't sound fun to me. But, trying to find somebody who's interesting or skilled when they're playing a video game and paying attention to it, no, that's weird. It's so weird. Number 2, you can't learn anything from a game. I almost just want to be like, And it sounds dopey, but there's a study that came out saying Assassin's Creed does a decent job and involves kids in learning about history. In fact, it does a comparable job to an actual history class. Imagine the idea of having both a history class and also playing Assassin's Creed. It's almost like these things could augment each other and enhance your learning, as well as keep you interested in a historical period that you might not have been otherwise. That's not to say Assassin's Creed is 100% a learning experience, nor is it a perfect thing. That's why, like I said, augmenting a real class, might actually be a good idea. But it's not just Assassin's Creed, it's most games. Like, how many games have said to you, strangers might not be that trustworthy? How many game over screens have you seen before you've beaten something, realizing that this whole time you have been learning to overcome failure? How many games have you competitively played and never won a single match and just realized playing it is what you care about, i.e. it's not always about winning. This is my experience with Fortnite, by the way. These are all valuable life lessons, and they are present in video games at pretty much all times. You can learn plenty from video games. And finally, number 1, why are you getting so worked up? It's just a game. At this point, all of the frustration you're feeling towards the game itself shifts towards that person. What did you just say? Did you just say this is just a game? Well, you know all that art you're doing all the time in your little studio that you set up in your house? Those are just some paintings. They don't mean anything to me personally, so I hate them. You know that expensive thing that you had to save up money to get, and you worked hard, long hours to get it, and then you finally did and you love it? It's just a thing. All that blood, sweat, tears, and hours of your life that you'll never get back? Yeah, I didn't have to do that, so it doesn't matter to me. Things that you like to do for you aren't about me, so I don't like them. Yeah, it's not just a game. It's the thing that I like to do with my time. It's for me. You don't have to understand why I'm getting so worked up. You don't have to understand why I'm emotionally invested in this thing. It's just a thing that I do for me, just like everything that you do for you. So don't tell me it's just a game, and ever bring up any of the shit you do ever again. And then you just drop the mic that you were apparently holding, and like some loud victory music begins to play. Not for real, of course, but what absurd nonsense have non-gamers said to you, a gamer? We'd love to hear it and mock them alongside you. If you like this video, please click like, and if you're not subscribed, now's a great time to do so. We upload brand new videos every day of the week, and the best way to see them first is, of course, a subscription. As always, thank you very much for watching this video. I'm Falcon. You can follow me on Twitter at Falcon the Hero. We'll see you next time, right here on GameRanks.